going to have an opportunity to work. Right now, ideal weather conditions, 50 degrees, humidity 68%, the winds none. How about that? Talk about ideal. Ray Wersching lathers up and gets ready to go, and the Bears will have a chance to operate with Walter Payton on offense, unless Willie Gault or Dennis Gentry brings it back all the way. They're the two deep men for the Chicago Bears. A lot of people didn't think they'd be here, these Bears, but here they are, and here we go. Willie Gault, he can burn it. Outside the 20, hit by Dana McLemore. Let's check quickly the offensive lineup for the Bears. Steve Fuller, the quarterback. Suey and Payton, the runners. Willie Gault and Dennis McKinnon, who's been ailing of late, but will play. At the offensive line, young and strong and going to be good. Moorhead, the tight end. Jim Covert, Bortz, Hilgenberg at center. Becker and the right tackle is Keith Van Horn. First down for the Bears at their own 23. Gault and Suey are flanked to the right, and Payton is a lone setback. And now Suey goes back with him. They go with two tight ends. Dunsmore on the right. Here we go with Payton. Payton gets a couple. Over the right side, stopped by Dwayne Board. Up front for the 49ers. Pillars and Board, the defensive ends. Tuiasosopo, Manu Tuiasosopo, the nose tackle. The linebacker, Buns, Ellison, Reynolds, and Turner. But the 49ers do make an awful lot of changes. That secondary that was in 1981 so effective and still is. Lott, Wright, the cornerbacks, Williamson, and White Hicks, the safety men. Reynolds is out. Mike Walters in. That's on the 49er defense. Steve Fuller gives to Walter Payton, and Walter Payton is hit and knocked backwards by Ricky Ellison, the 49ers leading tackler. The 49ers have 9 defensive linemen, John, and they get them all in the action.
They get them all into the game, as we see right now. Here come 4 of them right now. Let's watch this play now. You talk about a good athlete and a good player. Watch Keena Turner on this tackle. Payton starts to the inside, and then Turner is coming from the outside. Now, he has the outside control, and he just comes right down the line and doesn't let Payton cut back.
Dunsmore is split out wide to the right. Here comes McKinnon out of that direction. Bears go out of the shotgun, and they go to Steve Suey. Suey for a Bear first down to the 40. Eric Wright on the stop. 15-yard gain for Steve Suey. Matt Suey, sorry.
Now, I always like fullbacks like Matt Suey. I mean, I think he has the right name. You know, Matt Suey, fullback, Chicago Bears, you know, playing on grass here. I wouldn't be surprised. You know, there hasn't been much talk about the Chicago Bear offense, but when we did, we talked about Payton and so on. But I wouldn't be surprised if this guy has a pretty big day today.
Suey should have played at Arkansas. McKinnon in motion. Fuller back to Payton. Payton stymied at the line of scrimmage. Knocked out of bounds by Eric Wright.
You see how Walter Payton carries that ball? There's always a threat when Walter Payton goes on a sweep that he could pass the ball. And I bet you in this game we see at least once or twice where Payton will pass the ball. But he always has that ball up like, you better not come up too quickly because we can get someone behind you and I'll throw it to him.
Mike Ditka, the Bears head coach, who really punishes that chewing gum during a game. Second down and 10. Payton is the lone setback. Two tight ends again. Payton to the 49er 41. Tripped up by Carlton Williamson. 19-yard pickup.
That was the same play, Pat. A draw to the left side that Suey got his first down on. Watch center Jay Hilgenberg here on Manu Tuiasosopo. You see me let him come in, turn him to the outside. Payton ran right off that block. And Carlton Williamson, number 27, didn't make that tackle there. That was 6 points.
Final score has just been put up on the scoreboard here at Candlestick Park. The Dolphins 45, the Steelers 28. So the Dolphins will be in Palo Alto And one of these two will, too. Here's Fuller back for his first throw. McKinnon, the intended receiver, incomplete. Ronnie Lott was the nearest defender.
You know, that goes down as an incomplete pass, but I think that's what Steve Fuller needed. His first pass, he had time. He hit McKinnon right there. McKinnon didn't hold on, but that's the type of start that a quarterback like Steve Fuller needs.
Last week, he was 9 out of 14, and when we talked to him up at fair practice on Friday, he had to come away impressed, didn't he, John?
Well, you know, I'm impressed with his leadership, you know, and his poise and his confidence and obviously his intelligence.
Didn't play up down last year when he was with the Rams, but now, after 2 shoulder separations, they're looking at Super Bowl. Here's Payton. He rambles down to about the 32 before Tuiasosopo knocks him down after a gain of 8.
And the great thing about Walter Payton is you really don't have to block everyone. You can block about 5 or 6, and he'll get by the other 2 or 3. Watch him on this as he comes here. He has his off guard, off tackle, pulling in front. Look, he just makes the guy miss there. He makes him miss here, cuts back. You block half, and then he'll take on the other half of your defense.
Well, when you ask around, and you ask anybody, no matter who, you ask about Walter Payton, and the comment is great back.
He'd be on my all-Madden team.
I would hope so. There's the blocker in front of Payton, and Payton almost broke that one. Might be about a foot short of a first down. Ricky Ellison stopped him. Greg Landry in the middle of your picture, along with Mike Ditka.
One thing I like about these guys is how they block for each other. Let's watch Matt Suhey on the left of the screen. Let's watch his block here, his wham block for Walter Payton. You see him, he comes in motion right there. Now watch him, he's going to make a trap block right there, and then Payton is able to run off it. You know, these Bears, they not only run and catch a ball, Walter Payton throw it, but they also block like linemen.
They talk about the 49ers finesse. You can see how short it is. Along with the 49ers finesse goes ferocity for Chicago, because they play like they've always, as long as I can remember, playing. A lot of intensity. That's a late word. They didn't know about that when they were the Monsters.
And they're coming out with an aggressive attitude today. They're the first 4th down. They're going for it.
4th and a foot. And it's almost got to be Payton, and it's not Payton. It's Fuller, and he gets the first down. Looked like Tina Turner of the 49ers might have jumped off sides, but they got the first down anyhow.
That's right. That penalty will go against the 49ers. Tina Turner was up there at that weak side linebacker, and he just got a little anxious. He knew it was going to be a run on short yardage. He wanted to get penetration. Watch him. He's at the top right of the screen.
Number
See him there? 58. Tina Turner. He gets in the neutral zone. Then he gets in the backfield. He got in a lot of things.
And now the Bears are in the positive zone. 1st and 10 at the 49er 25. The referee, by the way, is Jerry Seaman. The umpire is Gordon Wells. The head linesman is Jerry Bergman. Bill Reynolds, the line judge. The back judge, Al Jury. Side judge, Dave Perry. Field judge is Don Orr, and the alternate is Dick Dolan. First down, Bears, the 49er 25. McKinnon in motion. Payton, and he can throw it. Looks to throw. Tucks it away. Just barely gets back to the line of scrimmage if he does. Lawrence Pillars tripped him up.
Well, we said that Walter Payton would be throwing, and then there's the first time. I think we'll see it at least one more time in short yardage. But he was trying to get the ball deep to Willie Gault. He was trying to get Gault deep in the end zone, and Gault ended up double covered. Now watch Gault. He starts in the left. He's going to come across here to the right. Now watch the coverage. There's Eric Wright and Dwight Hicks. So they have him doubled. That's what Walter Payton saw. He saw, well, geez, they got 2 of them. I won't throw. I'll just run it.
2nd down and 10 as Payton struggled to get back to the line of scrimmage, and Fuller will throw, and will have time intended for Moorhead. He led him a little too much. Eric Wright on the coverage.
Yeah, Steve Fuller couldn't see it, but he had over here on the right side, he had Dennis McKinnon wide open. He got behind Ronnie Lott, and he was wide open down here. I'm sure he'll tell him about it.
Again?
There's Dan Bunce, number 57. You see what they do to a tight end? They start him on the linebackers on him. Moorhead got away from Bunce, away from the second linebacker, and the ball was just out thrown.
Second linebacker, number 99, was Mike Walter. So it's third down, and Fuller retreats into the shotgun. Galt is split wide to the right. McKinnon goes in motion. 49ers look like a blitz, and then they back out of it. Fuller heads up the middle, is tripped up after a gain of 2 by Big Hands Gary Big Hands Johnson. And Bob Thomas will come on. Everybody, I think, John, expects a low-scoring game. You know about the Bear defense, or at least you've heard about them. But the 49ers can play the good defense, too.
You know, the other thing, everyone expects the offense. You know, they talk about the offense, the defense, all these guys. And it'll usually boil down to someone like this, Bob Thomas, kicking a field goal, or Ray Werson.
In a game like this, it figures 41 yards away with Bashnagle holding. Thomas, plenty far enough, but wide right. No good. So the Bears, with an impressive opening drive, come away after keeping the ball for a while, but no points. It's 0-0. John Madden score 0-0. The Bears had the ball 6 minutes and 11 seconds after the opening kickoff and came away empty as Bob Thomas missed from 41 yards away. For the 49ers, Montana is the quarterback. Tyler and Craig the runners. Clark and Solomon the wide receivers. The offensive line has Francis the tight end, Harris, Ayers, Quillen, Cross, and Ponhorst. Montana goes to work. Quickly to Solomon. First down. 49ers. Look out for some early fireworks from these folks. They go to work in a hurry.
You know, Joe Montana was saying, I said, what'll be the first play tomorrow? He said, oh, it's just going to be a little hook to either Solomon or Dwight Clark. Here it is, Freddie Solomon. You know, that secondary is staying off, they're sitting off, just run up, hit the hook in front of them.
The Bears operate with 4 up front. Hartenstein, Hampton, Dent, and McMichael. And Solomon to work again to Clark. First down, and look out! Dwight Clark could be off to the races. Chased down by Singletary. Mike Singletary catches him at the Bear 28. Dave Durson was the guy who missed the tackle. 38-yard pickup, and we'll take another look at that one.
Well, Todd Bell, the normal strong safety, is starting at corner. And we see him on Dwight Clark. Dwight Clark just runs up the field, makes a little move. Right there, Todd Bell just misses the tackle. Clark, not having great speed, sees Mike Singletary, the middle linebacker, tries to give him a move, and Singletary makes the tackle.
49ers out in a hurry. Ronaldo Nehemiah is coming to the game, and they're going to work to the left to Tyler. At the line of scrimmage, maybe one. Richard Dent, number 95 for the Bears on the tackle.
The Bears have an injured player down.
It's Singletary. That could be a disastrous event for the Bears if they lose him.
Well, you know, Mike Singletary is one of those guys that just throws his body in a pile. He did it on that play. It was away from the ball. The ball went to the left, and Singletary went to his left and just dove right over a pile.
Buddy Ryan, the defensive coordinator for the Bears, over on the sideline. Finsick over to talk to him. Coach Ryan has done some remarkable job.
Here's number 50. See Mike Singletary there? He just throws his body in there. He gets picked off, and he's just getting up just now.
Singletary, number 50, the injured Bear, seems to be okay now, selected for the Pro Bowl this year. Brian Cabral, number 54, has taken his place. Singletary, a very impressive player and a very impressive individual. Ronaldo Nehemiah, split wide to the right. A lot of speed there, too. Solomon is out to the left. Montana to work to Ronaldo. And Skeets is down to about the 17. A gain of 10. Finsick on the stop.
You know, when you put Ronaldo Nehemiah in, the defensive back is always going to give a big cushion. Mike Richardson, number 27, he's not going to let Nehemiah get deep. Of course, so what does Nehemiah do? Make you think you're going deep, and then just stop and come back in that hook. That looked like the game plan of the 49ers on his first few drives is just throw in front of him, try and get him up, then go deep later.
Underneath is the game, and Clark broke a big one. Here's Clark in motion now. And Montana goes back to throw. Lofting it out to Clark. He bats it around and loses it. Would have been a spectacular catch. He couldn't come up with it. Dave Durison on the coverage, number 22. That's the change, as John Madden said a minute ago, in the Bear secondary, and that could be a very significant change.
Well, you know, it does two things. It takes Todd Bell, a real physical player, out of that inside or that defensive middle, and puts him out on the flanks where they can stay away from him. And it puts Durison in there, a good player, but not as physical as Todd Bell.
To the Bears, that strength down the middle has been so important all year. Montana back quickly. Solomon at the 5. Mike Richardson, the defender. Solomon hangs on. It's a Niner first down. It'll be first and goal.
You know, the most impressive thing about this drive in the 49ers, Pat, is the protection. The time that they're giving Joe Montana. Watch this offensive line here. We know what happened last week to the Redskins. They didn't give Theismann time. This time on this drive, no one has gotten close yet to the quarterback, Joe Montana.
And the Bears, of course, over the year, have sacked so many quarterbacks so many times that that's highly unusual. And Montana goes right. Here comes the Bear blitz. Montana looks, finds his receiver at the 2. Again, it's Solomon. Montana, we said in the opening that Bill Walsh, or we talked about it in the pregame show, about those quick feet of Montana.
And this is what Montana's going to do against the blitz. We see the middle linebacker coming. We see Durson, the safety, coming. Montana says, okay, I'll just run away from it. You blitz in the middle, I'll run out to the right and see who I can find out there. There was Freddie Solomon, 2-yard line.
Second and goal at the 2. Montana is 5 out of 6. Solomon moves in motion. Montana buying some time. Throws it to a photographer.
I think he threw that long to the photographer. That was a play pass. It was supposed to fool the linebackers in secondary. Didn't fool anyone. Montana had no one open in the end zone. Knowing it's only second down, why force anything? Just throw it away.
That one almost went in the ambulance, and Montana wants a timeout. He's a little concerned about the offensive lineup. It'll be 3rd down and 2 when we come back. No score as yet, but the 49ers at the door. This is at the Bear 2-yard line. 3rd down. This is their first 3rd down of this drive and the 9th play of this drive. All but one has been a pass. 3rd for the Niners. The Bear 2. No score. That was Earl Cooper in motion. They're going to have to settle for a Wershing.
You know, you hate to have to audibilize down on the goal line. That's what Joe Montana was doing, that red 73. Watch him here. He's audibalized. And sometimes that takes a lot of concentration off the center and the quarterback. And sometimes it also changes your snap count. And you really don't like to audibilize, period. But when I was coaching, I used to hate to have to audibilize on the goal line.
There ought to be something, you would think, that would work against everything.
Especially when you get down there.
21 yards for Wershing with Montana holding. Wershing hits, and the 49ers break on top 3-0. Boy, is that ever a familiar story. San Francisco scores first, and they lead early. It's been that way almost all year. This is the NFC Championship game. The 49ers do lead the Bears 3-0 with 4:21 left in the first quarter. Whoever wins will be on the West Coast to play the Miami Dolphins, who won the AFC earlier today. Worshing to kick off. Willie Galt and Dennis Gentry back deep for the Bears. Ball sails over both of them and flies out of the end zone. And they'll bring it out to the 20 and start to operate from there. Here's the drive by the 49ers. Worshing finished it off with that 21-yard field goal. 10 plays, 73 yards. They kept the ball 4 minutes, 28 seconds. All but one of those plays, if you forget about the fumble, was a pass.
And I think that they established something else. One, that they are going to pass, that that's going to be their game plan to attack the Bears. And number two, that this offensive line, at least early in the game, can pass protect this 46 defense.
49er offensive line is excellent. No question about that as you look at Steve Fuller. Bears from the 20. Payton and Suey, and Moorhead in motion. And Suey gets the handoff. And Suey tries to get to the right side and gets nothing. Ricky Ellison. One of the 49er defenders. The other was Dwayne Board. You get the feeling, with all the talk, John, about the Bear defense, that the 49er defense was neglected or not given the notoriety.
I think that's been true, but the players said that it didn't bother them. You know, that they kind of liked that. That's what Ricky Ellison was saying yesterday, number 50, the inside linebacker of the 49ers. He said, you know, that's happened, but that's not bad. Let them not respect us. But then you can come out and show them, and everyone says, whoa, this guy's pretty good.
2nd and 10, and be careful of this down right here. Intercepted by Dwight Hicks. He got the rebound. It's 49ers. Willie Galt had it bounce off his hand. I just had a feeling.
You sure did, but I'll tell you, that's the second ball that Steve Fuller has thrown that should have been caught. Willie Galt has to catch that ball. That's right in the hand. There's no reason that that ball is not caught. Dwight Hicks makes a pretty good interception if that ball didn't touch the ground. I don't know. That was awfully close.
Well, nobody complained a lot. And the 49ers have it at the Bear 40. 1st and 10. They call it the 39. 49ers leading 3-0.
Play, the first big break of the game goes to the 49ers. Dwight Hicks, this ball hit the ground. This ball should not have been an interception. Watch this. It hits the ground. See right there, it's on the ground. Dwight Hicks did a good job of covering it up, but that should have been an incomplete pass. They gave it to Hicks and said it was an interception. The first big break of this game.
Well, if you're a veteran, as is Dwight Hicks, maybe you know how to cover those things. 1st and 10, 49ers at the Bear 40, just inside the 40. Montana right to work. Francis, first down inside the 30. Singletary back in the game, makes the stop. But a gain of 12. Hit him underneath, John.
Well, that's what they're going to do. You know, they really had 2 weeks to prepare for this Bear defense, and it looks like they have it figured out pretty well. They started going to the outside receivers, then they go to the tight end, Russ Francis. He just works underneath the linebackers. Big target in there, 6'6". Montana finds him. Quapp just gives him the ball for the first down.
White marks split out wide to the right, Solomon to the left. There at the 27. The handoff is to Tyler. Tyler down the right sideline. Tyler out of bounds at the 2. Number 26 rips off a gain of 25.
The 49ers don't run a lot, but when they do, they want to be successful with it. What Tyler, just a dive play. He starts in there. Dan Hampton misses the tackle. Tyler slides to the outside, and then he bounces outside one more time against Richardson, who finally gets him out of bounds at the 2-yard line.
1st and goal at the 2 for the 49ers. Montana for Solomon. Picked off by Fensick in the end zone. Intercepted by Gary Fensick as Mike Ditka lets you know he approves.
That was a great interception by Fensick. It was a poor throw by Montana. He had John Frank out there. Now he thinks John Frank is open more than John Frank is open. Excuse me, it's Freddie Solomon. He thinks Solomon's open. So he lays it out there, and that lets Fensick catch up on the ball.
approving of that, and Ditka will let you know what he thinks.
You know, Freddie Solomon was wide open early on that play, and I think that Montana thought it's a gimme, and he threw it like a gimme, and Fensick didn't gimme.
Sometimes you get too fancy. Suey in motion and Fuller to work. Fired to Moorhead. He's out to about the 26-27 before Jack Reynolds. That's the first completion of the day by Steve Fuller's Gary Fensick. 5 interceptions on the year. Number 45. He's quite an impressive individual, too.
He's an impressive. He's a bright guy. He's from Yale, but he'll hit you. You know, he's all over that field, and that's all he's looking for is a good hit. I think he was just going to try and find some hit there in the end zone against Solomon, and he found an interception.
He is not allergic to collisions. Neither is Jack Reynolds. Second down. Payton over the left side as only he can do it. Lawrence Pillars tripped him up. A Bear first down.
I think that was a good move by the Bears throwing on first down. You know, everyone knows that the biggest and most important part is this guy right here, Walter Payton. But you can't just give him the ball every play. So throwing on first down, mixing the plays up, then when you really need it, there's going to be a lot left for Payton.
One thing, when you talk to Bill Walsh about Payton, you know, if people talk about his moves and his jumping ability and he can throw it, the thing that Bill Walsh always brought out as we talked to him was stamina.
He's playing as hard or harder in the fourth quarter as he does the start of the game.
Here's Payton. Payton ricochets off Ronnie Lott. Not many people do that. Stover finally got him down.
Ronnie Lott made a heck of a play on that. Keith Van Horn, number 78, the right tackle. Watch him pull out here, 78. Now he's going to come right here on Ronnie Lott. Ronnie Lott gets off Van Horn's block right there. You see him? And he puts a tattoo on Payton. And Payton just kind of runs right through the tattoo.
Tattoos are not usually easy to get rid of.
Ronnie Lott was saying the other day, he said, I want to play as hard as I can against this guy because he's the greatest back in football, and I want him to respect me, too, as much as I do him.
2nd and 1. Fuller to Payton. Payton has a Bear first down at about the 44. Ricky Ellison. Carlton Williamson on the bottom of the pile. 9 carries, 47 yards for Payton. Should be the end of quarter number 1. Been an eventful quarter. The 49ers lead at 3-0. At Candlestick Park, the home of the 49ers. The hosts are leading the Bears 3-0. Steve Fuller brings the Bears out of the huddle. 1st and 10 from their own 44. Suey and Payton. This is Dennis McKinnon in motion. Fuller back to throw. Goes quickly to Moorhead, who's close to midfield, gets hammered in the head, tackled by Ricky Ellison. Was hit hard by Jim Stuckey. Gain of 6. The Bears offensive center, Jay Hilgenberg, just limped off.
Yeah, I was just going to say, now that is always a very difficult thing because your center works all week with a starting quarterback, and the backup center really doesn't get that much work.
Andrews is the backup center, number 60. He's a rookie from Louisville. He's got to work against 3 different middle backers. Here's Fuller. There's one of the middle backers, Michael Carter, number 95, who started in front of Andrews, and he comes up with Fuller in his arm.
There's 2 rookies going against each other, Michael Carter, Tom Andrews. Watch Andrews, it's his first play. Now, that really wasn't his man. He had to come off on the blitz. He missed Hacksaw, and then we see what happened. Kurt Becker, the right guard, came down on Carter. So Carter got off of Becker and made the play after Hacksaw on the blitz went by Andrews.
If that name sounds familiar, Carter, it's because you remember the Olympic Games, and he was a silver medalist, John?
Right, shot putter.
3rd down. McKinnon moves in motion again, and Fuller goes out of the shotgun. Gets away from everybody. Almost everybody. They say his arm was going forward, so it is not a fumble. Big Hands Johnson was the man applying the pressure, and the Bears will have to punt.
Well, the first guy that gets in there is Jeff Stover, number 72. He's going to end up right at Fuller's feet right there. That's the tap. Then he starts to run, then he gets the bap, and then the sack.
Here is Dave Finzer, who hurt his knee last week against Washington, making a tackle after kicking off, but he is in the punt. He hasn't kicked since Wednesday. Dana McLemore is number 43 back for the 49ers. Finzer. Good kick. Wow. Rocket. McLemore chased back to his spot. McLemore out of the pack. McLemore still on his feet to the 30. Andrews finally knocked him down. A 55-yard punt. A 25-yard return, so they net 30. 49ers take it over first and 10 at their own 30.
Talk about tough things that players have to do. The punt returner is really something, because he can't spend a lot of time running right and left. He has to get that ball right up the field. Look him just bounce off tacklers, one there, another one there, and he finally gets it out to the 30-yard line. That's 30 tough yards.
And 30 very valuable yards to the 49ers. They lead 3-0 on CBS Sports. 49er ball. Their own 30. Francis in motion this time. Montana. Quick to Solomon. Another Niner first down. Mike Richardson, the defender. 13-yard gain. Montana firing quickly. And the Bears haven't been able to get close to him.
Well, that's what Bill Walsh was saying the other day. He said what we have to do is Joe has to get rid of the ball. Even if we have to shorten our route, shorten his drop back. We see it's 1, 2, 3. He usually takes a 5-step drop. Now there he's taking a quicker 3-step drop and just getting rid of the ball sooner.
First down. Big play to Roger Craig, and McMichael is there quickly along with Dan Hampton. Loss of about 4. This is, of course, the NFL's #1 defense, the Chicago Bears, against the second-ranked offense, Miami's #1. Today in total offense, the 49ers have picked up 122 yards, the Bears 69. The 49ers, for all that number, have only 3 points, and that's the score, 3-0. Ronaldo Nehemiah split wide to the left. Hampton jumped and got back. Montana. Oh, Solomon. Durson almost came up with an interception. Mike Richardson finally knocked him out of bounds, but Solomon came up with a handsome catch.
But how about the throw at Joe Montana, getting the ball in there? We're going to see Richardson's coming off. Solomon just works to the outside. Here comes Durson. The ball gets right past Durson and into Solomon's hand. That's a zipped thrown ball, where you just go zip.
5 zips for Solomon for 54 yards. Wilson has taken his place. Here's Montana, penalty marker down as Roger Craig comes out of bounds after catching the ball for a gain of about 4, but there's a flag down.
Old Wendell Tyler got a pretty good block over here in the sideline on Mike Singletary.
Against the Bears.
It's Wilson out here. Otis Wilson is the linebacker
Offside.
who jumps off
Number 55, defense. Still first down.
Starts there. They have the 2 linebackers up there. You see Wilson, the outside guy. He again got into that neutral zone. They're just anxious on defense. He was coming on a blitz that time. He wanted to get there to Montana because they haven't gotten close to him yet.
That was the famed 46 defense that has given so many people so many fits and so many sleepless nights. Clark is split wide to the left. Wilson is out to the right. Montana pitches back to Wendell Tyler. He's chased and down by Al Harris and Mike Singletary.
Now, you talk about a big linebacker. That Al Harris is about 6'6", over 250 pounds, number 90 there. That's a big linebacker. Now, in that play, Roger Craig had to block him. That's what you call a mismatch. Talking about a 6-foot guy blocking a 6'5" guy. Al Harris just kind of stood there, boom, took him off, tackled Tyler.
There's Jay Hilgenberg over on the sideline. Remember, he was injured earlier, but we're told he'll be back in the contest when the Bears get the ball back.
Had a pinched nerve in his neck.
Second down, 5 from the Bears 40. Montana gives to Tyler. Tyler with some room is finally tripped up by Hartenstein, but he got a 49er first down, a gain of 8.
It over in that left side. Watch the left guard there, John Ayers, number 68. He does a good job. He just takes his guy, Richard Dent, just pushes him to the outside, and Wendell Tyler cuts right inside. But you know, Richard Dent had a big game last week. So far in this first half, we haven't heard his name yet. They're handling him pretty well.
Only when you said he was blocked. First down. The option play by Solomon. Back to Craig. How'd he get the ball? This is one of the wrinkles that the 49ers had ready for the Bears. Solomon at quarterback, running the option.
Freddie Solomon ends up at quarterback. Joe Montana ended up outside as a receiver. Look, here's Freddie Solomon. Joe Montana's out here playing receiver. Freddie Solomon's going to come right down the line in the option. Watch him now. You see, he fakes in there, fakes a dive. He's keeping now. Then he throws out there. When Hartenstein takes him, he throws the pitch to Craig. Who would have thought? Freddie Solomon at quarterback.
Well, they thought about it for a minute. Here's Montana to Clark, complete out of bounds. First down, 49ers. Todd Bell knocked him out of bounds.
You know it.
They got 14.
Dwight Clark was complaining about a late hit out there. But it's funny, Montana played left end to see what it looked like out there, then he threw it out there to Clark. Now watch this protection here, this 49 line. This is what makes it possible. They pick up the blitz. They pick up the defensive line. They keep Richard Dent on the line, and that's where Joe Montana can do this type of thing. Dwight Clark thought that was a late hit. Okay to me.
First down. Montana back to go again. Incomplete, no penalty, no flags, but yes, there is one. On the other side of the field, way on the other side of the field. Against the Niners.
This will be an interesting decision. Whether you take the penalty or turn it down. I would think they would turn it down to bring up 2nd and 10. It's either going to be 1st and 15 or 2nd and 10.
Here is Jerry Seaman.
Illegal motion, number 87. Offense, penalty declined.
Clark.
Second down.
It is 87. Bears decline. Montana's 9 out of 13. It's 2nd and 10 from the Bear 18-yard line.
Here's Buddy Ryan, the Bears defensive coordinator. He's the guy that put this famed 46 defense in, and he's the guy that runs the whole defense for the Chicago Bear team.
Montana, chased by Durson. Gets rid of it to Wilson, out of bounds. It'll be 1st and goal for the 49ers at the 3.
Last week I said Joe Montana's the best quarterback in football. Then I brought up Dan Marino, but this is the reason that he's so good. We can see that he is going to get Durson coming through free here. Most quarterbacks go down. Montana just takes the ball, runs out, then finds something down here. Watch him. Here comes number 22. He's free. He has a free shot at him. Montana gets away. Oh, you see the hold there by Randy Cross? He gets outside, gives a little jump shot right out there to the 3-yard line.
1st and goal from the 4. And pitches back to Craig. Craig is cut down by Singletary at the 2. Looked like he had a wide open alley, but from nowhere came number 50.
You talk about guys getting psyched up to play and ready to play. This guy Mike Singletary looks to me that he's always ready to play.
49ers did something else different that time. They had a guard in the backfield, Guy McIntyre, instead of Wendell Tyler, blocking for Roger Craig.
That was one of the plans that they have, also to help in their pass protection. If they were having trouble with pass protection, they're going to put McIntyre in the backfield.
Tyler's back, and Tyler is smacked in the backfield by Richard Dent. Lucky to hold on to the ball. Richard Dent came firing off the right side and did a tattoo number on Wendell Tyler.
Tyler's getting up. Look, where did that guy come from? Richard Dent hit Tyler about the same time that he got the ball, and as you said, Tyler's lucky he didn't fumble that ball. Watch Dent on the penetration right there. He just goes right inside of someone. Tyler just gets him. Holy moly.
Richard Dent from Tennessee State. Really quick and a very, very strongly developing player. He's going to be great. Montana has the ball batted away. He was looking at White Park. And we'll have a 14 for the 49ers on the field in a moment. Ray Wersching. Dan Hampton knocked it down.
It was both Hampton and Dent were given the rush on that side, and it looks like Hampton knocks it down. Dent is to his right. Hampton is number 99. He starts out there to his pass rush. Just get that big left hand up and knocks the ball down.
49ers have been at the door a lot, but don't seem to be coming away with any sales. Montana holding from 22 yards out for Wersching. And it's good. And it's 6-0. 7:57 left to play in the first half, and the 49ers lead the Bears 6-0.
Here's the play we were talking about where Guy McIntyre, backup guard, is playing halfback. Now he's going to lead block on Gary Fensick. What would you think if you're the safety and you look up and you see a guy coming at you and you look at he's a 260-pound guard. Watch McIntyre coming. Fensick said, well, they told me I was supposed to take on a running back out here. Where'd that guard come from?
Tell you what, if Singletary doesn't come from the inside, that's a dance in the end zone because they really had an alley. Roger Craig, by the way, number 33, just went to the 49er locker room. Yet he didn't appear to be injured, to me at least, John. I didn't see anything, did you?
No.
Wersching's kickoff. Dennis Gentry at the 7. Here come the flags, as so often happens on kickoff return, punt return. Ricky Ellison was the man on the bottom of the pile.
We just got a report, Pat, that Roger Craig had his hand stepped on, and so they're probably taking him into the locker room to x-ray the hand.
San Francisco, I think the holding penalty indication has been given already. This is Jerry Seaman. San Francisco's at a 1st and goal from the 5 and from the 4.
Number 54, receiving team, during the return, first down.
And all they've gotten out of those 1st and goals is 2 field goals.
Here's number 54, Brian Cabral. Now, that's a good hold. If you're going to hold, put both arms around him, wrap him, take him to the turf. I mean, that's a good one. Don't get one of those little touching on the back. I mean, that's what Brian Cabral said. Hold him. Heck, I'll tackle him.
Might as well be serious about it. First down, Bears. Their own 14, Steve Fuller, the quarterback. Alvin Thomas was in there. That's a lateral to Payton. Payton to about the 9. Ricky Ellison and Jack Reynolds converge. There's Buddy Ryan talking to his defensive unit.
You know, we were talking to Gary Fensick the other night, and he said that Buddy Ryan takes about the first quarter to figure out what they're doing, and then he makes his game plan. And basically what it is, if they keep the running backs in, he doesn't blitz, he drops off. If they release the running backs on pass patterns, then he blitzes.
Sounds simple, but a lot of people haven't been able to figure it out all year long. Fuller, draw play to Thomas. Alvin Thomas to about the 12. It'll be 3rd and long, extremely long.
Well, the first 2 times the Bears ran that play, the first time was to Matt Suey, and they ran the same play to Walter Payton, and they had big yardage on it. That time, Gary Big Hands Johnson was in. He just stayed right on the line of scrimmage. There was no hole for the draw play.
Now you have two ex-San Diego Chargers on the right side of the 49er defensive line. Gary Johnson, 97, and Fred Dean, 74. And they can rush the passer.
And you have Jim Covert and Mark Bortz blocking him.
And Fuller operating out of the shotgun. He starts Moorhead in motion. The handoff is to Payton. Payton will not get the first down. He gets to about the 18. There's a little scuffle between Lott and Payton. Dwayne Board. And the Bears will have to punt.
Walter Payton, when he gets at the end of the run, he wants to finish it off, but he doesn't like anyone piling on him after the play's over. Ronnie Lott looks like he has him down there, and he's saying, you know, he wants trying to get the ball out of there. Payton said, hey, the whistle's blown. This play's over. Get me next time.
Pinzer standing at about his own 4-yard line, making the 3. Back deep is Dana McLemore for the 49ers. Hits another good punt. Clear catch at the 34 by McLemore. The 49ers take over there. Pinzer has 2 punts today, 155, and that one was 48. Not bad for a guy who's been a member of the kicking fraternity. I learned early in the pros, when you kick the ball and it's a good one, you still don't get to enjoy watching it. Watch Pinzer. Hello?
You can't admire your work for a long time, can you?
You really can't, unless you're up here with us. 1st and 10 for the 49ers at their own 34. Wendell Tyler. Bill Ring now, the running back, says Montana goes to work deep in the direction of Ronaldo Nehemiah. Stretch him out a little bit.
Well, you know, they started out with those short passes, and I think they do want to do that, stretch them out. Let's watch Bubba Paris, number 77 there against Richard Dent. He has a little help from Tyler. Sometimes those backs get in your way, though, and more help, they kind of hinder you. But I think that's the first shot that Montana has taken today.
Everything else has been underneath. Everything else has been quick. As you look at 300-plus pound Bubba Paris. He was looking forward to the challenge of Richard Dent. And he'll get it. Here's Montana sliding outside the 40. Finsick was the man who looked him in the eyes.
Well, you know, as Bubba Paris was saying, that if Richard Dent beats me, I know I'm going to hear about it. But if I block him, I'd like to hear about that, too. I mean, he's a Pro Bowl player. No one talks about me. The center's in the Pro Bowl. The right guard's in the Pro Bowl. The right tackle's in the Pro Bowl. He said, they don't talk about me except when I get beat. So if I block him, how about saying, hey, Bubba played pretty good.
It's 3rd down. Dent is right in front of Paris. Quickly outside to Russ Francis. Al Harris. The linebacker was the defender, and that's one of the keys to beating that 46. That tight end has got to get loose.
Watch Richard Dent here on Bubba Paris. Now, Paris gets those big arms out, keeps away. Watch what Dent does. He's trying to take him off. He just starts swinging to get those hands away. Paris is saying, I'm still blocking you, and now they do a little talking. But that's not bad. You see how he gets those big arms out there, get the hands up, then you can't rush from there. The guy gets in close to you, then you're in trouble with speed like Dent has.
Grading that action, Bubba's one up. 1st and 10. Bill Ring, who replaced Craig Barrels off to the right side. Picked up a couple, just got across midfield before Duerson knocked him out of bounds. Over on the sideline, Walter Payton, 10 years, missed only 1 game in his career. Amazing. The all-time rusher, the leading rusher in the NFL. Suey next to him, the blocker. They block for each other. Hard to call either one of them the blocker, isn't it?
You see, Suey, he had that leg going, though. He's ready to get back in there. He wants to get back in there and do some running and blocking and stuff.
Montana steps up, fires. Wilson was the intended receiver. Finsick did the dive along with Todd Bell.
Let's look again and see how Paris and Dent are doing down there in the pits. 95, Richard Dent going to the Pro Bowl. Bubba Paris blocking him. Now, that time he didn't get his hands up there, see, until late. Now what he's doing, letting him go up the field, push him beyond the quarterback, because Montana always steps up to throw it. I like the first technique, to boom, get your hands on him right now. I like that better than keeping your hands down and letting them run around you.
Operating now on the left-handed stance. It's 3rd and 7. And hit it out quickly to Ray, and Ray is hammered by Singletary. It's incomplete. They call it an incomplete pass. Hartenstein and Hampton put the heat on Montana.
Singletary put the heat on Bill Ring. He was really flying down that line. You know, Singletary covers deep. Sometimes he'll get 30 and 40 yards deep in this pass defense. And when he gets there, he can do something. You know, a lot of guys can run fast, but when they get where they're going, they don't do much. Some guys run fast, then when they get there, they do a lot, like Singletary.
He's one of those guys. This is Runniger. Jim Fisher back deep for the Bears, and Fisher is going to handle it. No fair catch. Fisher to the 20. Fumble. But the Bears got it back. Todd Shell. 37-yard punt by Runniger. Brought it back 10, so it's a net of 27. 6-0. 2 field goals by Wershing, and that's been all the scoring so far here on CBS. Right now on CBS, 6-0 49ers over the Bears. Suey and Payton behind Fuller. Payton, left side. Michael Carter, who is a big load, was carried a few yards by Payton.
You know, that's a tough middle in there when you get a Michael Carter in there, and then you get Ricky Ellison and Jack Reynolds side by side with him. You're going to get some stuff in there. What's Jay Hilgenberg there? He has to come off of Carter, then try and get Hacksaw Reynolds. He gets him out, but it's too late because Carter goes around and comes in and makes the tackle.
A gain of 3 by Payton, 2nd and 7. Bears operating from their own 23, trailing 6-0. Suey. Stymied. Stop. Ricky Ellison, number 50. Remember, Roger Craig went to the 49er locker room. Hand injury was the report. It's not broken. He's had it retaped, and Craig should be back. You can see his right hand has been retaped. I think that might cause some difficulty catching.
Well, he's trying to get it comfortably. See, he has the scissors there, and it's probably too tight now. He's going to cut it to loosen it up so he has full flexibility in the hand.
Just watching, he called the trainer over for some additional work. 3rd and 6. Fuller out of the shotgun. Looks upfield. Throws to Payton. Shakes one tackler. Payton is stopped short of the first down by about a yard by Mike Walter, number 99, with help from Ronnie Lott.
Ronnie Lott, I think, is the guy that stopped him from getting the first down on that play. This is a real challenge for Ronnie Lott. I think anytime Walter Payton gets the ball, his motor goes up about another 20 miles an hour. Now, Payton still had a shot there to get the first down, but the guy that stopped it was 42, Ronnie Lott. He was the guy that finished off that run for Payton. Because I think without Lott being there, Payton could have stretched it out another yard and had the first down.
2-minute warning has been issued now. The Bears, by the way, have 3 timeouts remaining. The 49ers have 2. Bears are going to have to punt. Fins are over with instructions from the sideline. 6-0. Ready by the Bay, San Francisco, the home of the 49ers. And 49er fever has really captured this community, this city. So far, the 49ers are not disappointing the faithful. They're ahead 6-0. We just got the 2-minute warning, and Finzer, number 15, who has really done an excellent job punting so far. He didn't punt all week. He punted one day, Wednesday. Then they let him rest. And he looks like he's got a live leg. Now watch him shake it. Well, he flooded it. That goes out of bounds. 49ers will have it at their own 41. There's a scuffle going on in front of the 49er bench.
Special teams guys, they were playing all the way out of bounds. They just keep covering and blocking, and all the way down the field. There was Mitch Crank in there on that action. But that was about halfway into the 49er bench. But Blanchard Montgomery's going to knock Crank out of bounds right there. He knocks him out of bounds and halfway to South City. He's coming in. They want some more action. We'll hit right in here. We don't have to be out in the field to do some hitting.
Knocked him up close where he used to live. 6-0, 49ers.
This NFL Most Valuable Player segment is brought to you by IBM. Burt Jones may be a good old boy from Ruston, Louisiana, but in 1976 he's a nightmare to opposing defenses. The Ruston rifle throws for over 3,000 yards and 24 touchdowns, but he leads the Colts to an 11-3 record by doing whatever's necessary. For his efforts, Jones is named the league's most valuable player.
The NFC Championship. Pat Summerall here with John Madden. San Francisco 6-0 over the Bears. The timeouts remaining. Bears have all of theirs. The 49ers have 2 with a minute and 50 seconds left to play. First half. Montana bought himself some time. Has Light Park. And Park scrambles to the Bears 37 before Finsick gets him out of bounds. It's a gain of 23.
And I'll tell you, that one, you have to give credit to the offensive line on this play because they gave Joe Montana time. He had protection to wait for Dwight Clark to come from the left side, get open here, and then come all the way across the field. Now, that is a heck of a lot of time. He was standing back there with the ball, waiting for Clark to come across. Watch his pass protection here. There's Bubba Paris again on Dent, pushes him to the inside, helped by Wendell Tyler. But Montana is standing behind all that bunch of guys, finding Dwight Clark.
Here's Montana back to throw again. Has some more time. Misread by somebody. Ronaldo Nehemiah was the nearest man there. Solomon and Nehemiah were together on that side. Montana went deep, and nobody else did.
Well, the closest guy was Todd Bell back there, number 25. You see, they get a bump in there. Bell got the bump in there first on Nehemiah. See, and that forced them 2 together. So Montana, when he saw it, he had nothing to throw to, so he just threw that one away.
That'll bring up 2nd and 10. Montana 12 out of 21 so far. A minute 36 left to play first half. 49ers leading 6-0. Craig and Tyler behind Montana. Here comes Durison on a blitz. Montana gets it out to Solomon. Out of bounds is Freddie. About a foot shy of the first down.
Yeah, the 49ers are really going maximum pass protection and just putting 2 receivers out. They have 8 of them in their block and 2 out. You see, they keep Francis the tight end, they keep Craig the back, and they get all that pass protection there. McMichael just gets a hand up, but Montana's the type of guy who can get it around him.
6 catches already for Freddie Solomon, who might have been shaken a little bit on that last reception. 49ers now operating with 2 tight ends. And Montana gets the first down. Short yardage sneak by Montana, or ducked by Montana. They move down to the 25. Timeout San Francisco. They have 1 left.
What I did last night.
First down and 10 for the 49ers from the Bear 25. Serious down there. Here's Montana scrambling away from the Bear rush. Richard Dent is saying that he was held by Bubba Paris. Dan Hampton was the guy who made sure that Montana went down.
The 49ers have already used 2 timeouts. They're trying to save one here and go quick. They can't get their receivers back. Montana couldn't get the play. The receivers are just getting back to the huddle now. They only have 1 timeout. They don't want to burn it.
And we're down to just over a minute left in the first half. 49ers to Montana. Montana gets away from the run. Chased by Otis Wilson. No flag. Singletary. And Wendell Tyler got all tangled up, but there was no penalty marker. Worshing capable of getting it there from
like wide receivers give little taps. But when a middle linebacker bunts, it's a whack. He goes down.
3rd and 13 from the Bear 28. Singletary. He's serious about this event. Montana chased by Hampton. Picked off by Fensick. Second interception from Montana. Bubba Paris with a block that saved Montana. He may also made the tackle that stopped Fensick.
Plus, I think this is the biggest confidence builder right now for the Chicago Bears. They can go in here at halftime, you know, without dodging all those bullets, making things like this happen. He's getting rushed by Hampton, throws off balance. Fensick jumps right in front of Dwight Clark, and he has the ball for the Bears. That's his second interception, just from alert play. You know, he's just around there. Hampton's giving him a whap, then another whap. Montana's done. He doesn't know what happened that's bad yet. Now he sees, oh.
Second interception of Montana, both by Fensick. That's 5 in the last 2 weeks. Here goes Fuller. Down goes Fuller by Michael Carter. 4th time he's been sacked, and now they take a timeout. The Bears take a timeout.
You know, there's a lot of pressure in a championship game. In fact, I feel of all the games that are played in the National Football League, there's more pressure in this game than any game. And I think it would be a smart move for the Bears just to run out the clock, go in and regroup.
They trail the 49ers 6-0. The Bears have really dodged some disastrous situations. They only trailed 6-0, and they played good defense. They picked off 2 of Montana's passes, both by Fensick. Look at the yards passing. The 49ers 181, and the Bears 3. 2nd and 16.
The Bears have thrown 10 passes to get those 3.
Here's another one. To Seward, the screen pass. Michael Carter is there to make the stop, the nose tackle again. The Bears have not made a first down in this quarter.
Now the Bears take a timeout. That surprises me.
Coming up at the half, highlights of that Pittsburgh-Miami championship effort by the Dolphins. Terry Bradshaw will be talking with Dan Marino. And, of course, those 2 people will be around to analyze what happened in the first half. Dick Vermeil on the left and Brent Musburger on the right. Here's Fuller.
I was kind of surprised that the Bears took a timeout here, because now they're 3rd and about 17 or 18. What's Mike Ditka on that last play? We got to get rid of it. We got to get some yards. That screenplay should have worked. I better pick up this game plan and see what I have left here. But I think that, you know that they've dodged a lot of bullets in this half, and I don't think that in this game that you have to have any macho deal at this point in the game. I think going in just down 6-0 would be a real plus for the Bears right now.
When you look back at what they've done in the first half as far as throwing is concerned and big plays are concerned, right now it's 3rd and 20 at the 23. They have thrown 11 passes. You know what their net yardage is? 0.
None. So that wouldn't be a bad thing, you know, just to run out the clock here. I was really surprised at that last time out. I thought maybe the 49ers would take. I think that last time out give the 49ers an advantage, because they can stop them here, force the Bears to punt.
And the 49ers still have 1 timeout left. Here's Fuller up under the center. Now they agree with you. Big Hands Johnson takes down Walter Payton, and now the 49ers will probably take that timeout.
But I still don't think the Bears had to take the timeout to run Payton in there.
I agree
and that gave the 49ers a possibility to take this timeout with 19 seconds. Now they can do one. They can go for a punt block, then get the, if they don't block it, go for another play.
Fenser is in the action. Mike Ditka was a bit upset by that whole series of events. 19 seconds left to play in the first half. The 49ers leading 6-0. 2 field goals by Ray Orshing. They send McLemore back deep. Fenser comes in for the Bears. lot of people didn't think he was going to play. He sprained his ankle last week against the Giants, but so far he's been effective.
Well, you know, Dwight Hicks was out there. He was arguing with the officials that he didn't get the timeout right when they called it. Because you see, they made the play there. They stopped him. He was trying to call the timeout. They came up and called it right there, and the clock kept going.
Went all the way down to 19.
Right, and now they're putting time back on the clock. Now they put it back to 23, so Hicks really won his argument.
So that 19 you see is not correct. That 23 you see is correct.
Watch Hicks right there, number 22. The minute the play's over, he's calling timeout. Then you see his head turn. He looked at the clock. It was 23. They didn't stop it till 19.
There was a time that there were selected players who could call timeouts. Now, they all can call a timeout. Anyone. Finzer. Good kick this time. McLemore at his 31. Shakes one. Shakes two. Shakes three. Flag is down. Perhaps he should have run it out of bounds. But the penalty will stop it, and the change of possession will stop it anyway.
I think McLemore was thinking to get as many yards as he could, which I think is smart, because as you say, the clock is going to stop anyway at change of possession. So once they tackle him, they're going to stop it, so you may as well get as much as you can. Dana McLemore here wasn't counting on getting as much as he could and then losing 15 yards of it to a penalty.
Illegal block, number 52, receiving team during the return.
Blanchard Montgomery, number 52, who's had a rather unique role in this game so far. One fight.
He was the guy that knocked the punter down. Remember, Finzer was running down. He was looking up at his punt.
Right.
And he got the whap on him.
And the 49ers take over at their own 31, and they'll probably now just run it out. Wendell Tyler, hammered by Singletary and Otis Wilson. And that should take care of the first half at Candlestick. Unusual, but entertaining. The 49ers go to the locker room leading 6-0 over the Chicago Bears.
In first half, but when you look at it, the 49ers 3 times had the ball inside the 5-yard line. Dick Vermeil, they could well be ahead 21-0 here.
They really could be, but you know, the significant thing in the first half is the Bears haven't been able to get to Montana. But I do feel that the Bears picked up defensive momentum in the second quarter.
Exactly. Now let's shift our focus down to Miami, Dick, because it was the highest scoring AFC championship game ever. 45-28. The Miami Dolphins are going back to the Super Bowl, and for Don Shula, his 6th time in the Super Bowl. Again, it was Dan Marino. They're going to Mark Clayton for a 40-yard touchdown.
He gets rid of that ball so quickly. It's like coming out of a bazooka.
Now, the Steelers took advantage of a turnover, and Mark Malone went to the veteran John Stallworth.
He's been around for a long time, and he always comes up with a big play in a big game.
It was a 14-10 Steeler lead. Miami came back, and from the shotgun, watch Marino go deep now to Mark Duper.
No effort to get it there, was it, Brett?
And Chuck Noll made a very controversial play decision late in the half, and he coughed up an interception right here. And it was Lyle Blackwood, and that gave the Dolphins another scoring opportunity. Again, it was to Duper.
Looks like they beat the blitz that time, Brent.
31-14, and of course they close it out 45-28, and what an afternoon Dan Marino had. More than 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. Terry Bradshaw of our CBS Sports staff was down to the Orange Bowl, and following the game, he spoke to Marino.
Congratulations, Dan. Great game, 45-28. I gotta ask you one thing. In the first quarter, things didn't look quite the way the Dolphins wanted them. Steelers were really doing a fine job. Second quarter, 14 points in a minute and a half going into the half. Was there a change in offense, change in philosophy to really put those points on the board?
Not really, Terry. I think going into the game, we just knew we can go upfield on them in certain situations, especially in third down, because of the speed of our receivers and the type of coverages they played. And we get 4 guys going upfield on them, and their 2 deep safeties had to make a decision, go one way or the other, especially with the speed we have on the outside. And we were able to complete a few balls in the last 2 minutes doing that. and we had 2 touchdowns on that. And then with the blitzes they were coming with, our guys did a great job of recognizing the blitzes and doing their breakoffs they're supposed to do, and we got it done. So,
have you ever sat down and really stopped and thought just for a second all the things that you've accomplished in 1 year, actually in 2 years? Now you're going to the Super Bowl. You ever just sat down and said, golly, Dan, boy, can you believe all these things that have happened to you?
No, I really don't think about it that much. It's something that I'm having a lot of fun, but it's something I'm not really sitting down and saying, hey, you know, looking back on what's happening and everything. I just go and do what I got to do.
Just having fun.
Have fun, that's all.
All right, you got the 49ers and the Bears having a great game out on the West Coast. All right, I want to ask you who you want to play. Don't say just any one of them, Terry. Who you really want to play? Who do you match up best with?
I'd like to play the Bears because my buddy Jimbo's on the offensive line. It'd be nice to see him out in California.
All right. Thank you, Dan. All right.
Good enough reason, but the Bear offense will have to put some points on the board. We'll continue with the NFL today after this message. And the Niners lead the Bears here at the half. The most unusual sight in the first half, that's easy. Number 88, a wide receiver, Freddie Solomon at quarterback. He played a little quarterback down in Tampa. Dick Vermeil, Bill Walsh should do anything.
Yes, he will. An example will be this play we're going to show. They run a veer option blocking where they turn the defensive lens. See at the top of your screen, they did not bother to block number 73, turned him loose upfield. Wendell Tyler now, having run this stuff in college, runs it well, and there he is, loose for a nice gain.
What were they taking advantage of there?
The wide play and alignment of the defensive end out there in space, and they just slipped the ball in underneath him.
Dick, what about the 49ers play selection inside the 5-yard line on first down?
Well, I think if you're going to throw the ball inside the 5, the best time to do it is on first down, and they've done it twice in the first half. Both times it's backfired, and once with this interception.
Yeah, let's take a look at Gary Fensick because he has the 2 Bear interceptions so far.
2 so far. This is a very nice play. Actually, I think if the ball would have been thrown a little higher, he would not have been able to make that interception. But you have to give Gary credit. He really did a good job.
Now, the 49ers have left the Bears in this game. Are they going to come back?
Well, I tell you, I feel the Bears have gained momentum. The 49ers still have a lot of tools to use in their offense. If they go ahead and get it in once they get inside, I think it's going to be tough on the Bears.
All right. You know, Dick, San Francisco in this game using some still photographs against that Chicago defense. And for more on that story, here's Irv Cross. Irv?
Brett, you may often wonder what goes in the locker room at halftime. Well, both the 49ers and the Bears use these Polaroid shots. This happens to be a sequence of shots from the Bears photographer. We also have them from the 49ers as well. But the first time the 49ers got on the 5-yard line, this is what it looked like. The 49er offense is going in. Here's the Bear defense coming out. And this is what the play looked like before the ball was snapped. And the coaches use these to try to see what the spacing looks like, what kind of formations that and adjustments they have to make during the course of the first half. Now, once the ball was snapped, this is the kind of picture we had. Montana was rolling to his right. You can see the Bear corner was blitzing, trying to put pressure on Joe, moving him out of the pocket. The Bears did that successfully in the first half. 3 times, the 49ers were on the 10-yard line, and they only came up with 2 field goals because of that pressure. Brent?
All right, 30 minutes to a Super Bowl just down the road. The Miami Dolphins are in. Will it be San Francisco or Chicago? Let's go upstairs now to Pat Summerall and John Madden. Pat?
Well, Brett, you know, they promised us some rather unusual things, the 49ers did, and let's take a look at some unusual things that they did. Here's the first one. Look who is the quarterback. Montana first. He goes left. Number 88, Freddie Solomon, goes under and runs the option play. He hasn't seen that since his days at Tampa. Play number 2, here's John Madden.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see some more of that one, along with this one in the second half. Here's a backup guard right here, Guy McIntyre, lining up as the halfback and blocking right here on Fensick on a running play. I think they want to do this to get him in there in addition to this running play type thing, but also for pass protection. We might see that again in the second half.
Dwight Clark, number 87, is the intended receiver. You see Russ Francis go in motion. Montana back to throw. This is his second interception by Gary Fensick. The Bears only trail 6-0. I say only with all due respect because Fensick has 2 interceptions. The Bears wind up the first half with no yards passing, but they're still very much in this football game.